Hello, finally.
I know.
We did it.
I know, we did it. Welcome to Freedom Friday, and I am so excited and blessed to be here with Katie Wyatt at the beautiful Amitola Care Farm, and we're going to show you a whole bunch more other than this beautiful pond right here. So one of the reasons I really wanted to connect with you is because of this amazing work you're doing, but also because there just seems to be this common theme that is playing itself out again and again and again with every person that I meet with on Freedom Friday and with my practice and with my patients. And it has to do with taking our experience of trauma, big T and little t, and healing it at the next level, like much higher level than we've ever. We're all being called to do some very deep work right now. So looking at all the different angles and perspectives we can, because with the intensity of everything coming up on the planet, it's almost like it's pushing us and calling us to really see those pieces of ourselves. Like we may have not been ready to face those things, but now is the time, and what we need in order to support ourselves through that healing. It's like it's showing up for us. But it's such a tender place to be in, because when you've experienced any level of trauma, you know, a piece of us separates, that piece of us that's not quite ready to fully heal, and it, you know, protects itself out. So when we're going through this healing process, we're going to come up against all these different layers of energies, and very gently and tenderly holding ourselves. So, you know, I know a lot of the work you do is with children, but when we speak about the experiences we've had, a lot of this is with our inner children.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'd love for you just to share anything that comes up for you around that.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for being here. Well, I guess, you know, my own personal journey had its challenges and difficulties, and that's what sent me on this path of wanting to, I guess, when you hit that rock bottom, you know what it feels like, and it's not fun when you're there, and it's, you know, I call it my secret angels, you know, people that come on your path at certain times, and that piece of, you know, they stay for like a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and you don't really know the purpose or how powerful it was at the time, but you look back and you can connect the dots. And therefore you learn just how much people and kindness and compassion and being there for each other makes such a profound difference. It really is the difference for many of when they feel that overwhelm and they can't find a reason to go on, of getting them to get up and get through another day and keep putting one foot in front of the other until eventually they get a momentum and they move to a different place in their life. So that was a driver for me. I had those rock bottoms. I had quite a few spectacular rock bottoms, and didn't have a feeling that there was a purpose to me being here. I didn't feel in any way I had anything to offer the world. And I just thought it'd be easy if I could just, I don't know, press the button, drive off the road, something. But I thought I'd probably do that badly. Anyway, thankfully I didn't, and the reason for that was because of those people, whether it was a book or a kind word or a bit of advice, you know, mentors, doing some different holistic therapies, and that resonating and helping and just moving forward. And in some of those phases of my life, there was a lot of violence, and just knowing in those moments, somehow I knew that I would want to go on and do something to help others that didn't perhaps have that family unit, that didn't have those friends, and just help them to realise that all that they need is within them. You know, I mean, I don't know what it was like for you, but you know, it feels like the women that I coach and that come through and do the programs, and the children, that it's very much, you know, everything's an external thing that we're looking to acquire. You know, we're looking to please teachers, we're looking to please parents. As women, we're looking to please, whether it's partners or friends or employers. And it's just all an external thing. And the awakening, I guess the biggest thing for me, and it continues to be like the biggest aha, is just like everything we have, like an acorn to an oak tree or a rose seed to a rose bush, is within us. You know, all those unique nuggets of gold are tucked inside each and every one of us, and so it's so precious. You know, it's not rocket science, but just helping someone realize that they have everything, that they don't have to find it somewhere, that it's in the being rather than the doing. And so I don't know if that's answering your question, but in the work we're doing, it's just helping them to acquire a toolkit to help them process the trauma, process the experiences, looking at anger, looking at forgiveness, looking at their beliefs, looking at how they speak to themselves, whether they're inner friend, inner meanie.
Did you say inner meanie?
Yeah, inner
meanie. That. Right, inner friend and inner meanie, because we have both.
Yes.
And they each have a
really
purpose.
We really do. So yes, so that's kind of what we're doing, and that's why we're doing it. And it really, I think, just for people to have a safe space. I think the magic of here is that the nature piece, and that people have more time. They're not going into an office and having to talk to a stranger that they don't know, and share something that maybe they haven't even been able to process themselves.
Yeah, I want to pause a second, because I think this is really remarkable. This space began as open, but then it's like it slowly started to take form. And one of the pieces that's more clear than even when I first came here to witness it is the boundary of the fence. It's a beautiful fence. And that's part of, you know, doing this deep work. There needs to be a container to hold it in.
Yes.
And it begins as something like this, and then eventually, as the healing happens, you realize that like the container expands and shifts and changes, and it's of course within here, but it does begin with holding that sacred space. So it's literally the structure, but also the space that you are creating with the work that you do with these people, so they feel safe.
And it's massive, isn't it, that safety piece?
Yes.
Because so much of it, you know, whether they've experienced physical, sexual, emotional abuse, it's just that, you know, so often our throat chakra is blocked, and women just haven't had a space where they felt that they can just say how they feel. And so learning how to express yourself, to share your emotions without fear that there's judgment, or without fear there's going to be an outcome that's negative, and just being able to be, and let the tears come. You know, so many just apologizing constantly for crying. And there's this beautiful story I heard the other day I can't stop sharing, and it's just like, no, let your tears come, because they're watering the garden of your seeds of potential. And I was just like, oh, it's so beautiful, you know, just, it's okay, just let them fall, and let it go, and let's, you know, let the process start, and just keep moving through it. So it is, it's nice. And boundaries again, you know, boundaries for women, and learning to say no, learning it's okay to say no, especially with the youngsters as well, you know, all the peer pressure, and lots of pressure from partners in relationships to maybe want intimacy, and how does a woman or a boy feel about that, and just being able to speak and share their voice. So much for youngsters and for adults at the moment to navigate, especially with the extra COVID piece and all the dynamics that brings. So I think there's a lot that people are processing, so having someone to share that with is really powerful, whether that's a friend or a coach or whoever.
So one piece that's so important, and why you've created this space, is bringing animals into the healing process. I mean, and anyone who's had any connection with a dog or a cat or any other animal, they realize that there's such deep healing power in that connection. You know, especially if you're in that tender place where you're working through, and the process is so intense, and you don't feel like you can trust other people, and then a doggy comes. I was thinking of that today, even when my doggy comes in the room, and it's just like, whoa, 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 just love, 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 tapping into that unconditional love and that trust, and that the infinite compassion that animals mirror for us. So tell me how that wove its way into your approach.
Yeah, so I was that child that ran down to the local farm and asked the farmer if I could milk the cows, like when I was 8. So just always had, evidently I take after my grandfather, so there was always this big pull towards animals, and they are that unconditional love piece. And so through my life I just always wanted to have them in my home, and then I guess just knew firsthand the comfort that they bring when you're not feeling good, and the power of, like, you have to get up and take your dog out. You know, you don't have to, but you know, you want to, because you want to get out, and that gets you out in nature, and that gets you moving, and you're stroking them, and that releases oxytocin. So there's things going on scientifically that you don't realize, but that comfort piece is there. But then when I moved to the US, in the UK I'd been delivering programs into non-profits, women's shelters, different organisations, and I thought when I came here it would be the same piece, that we'd be doing the same, and it wasn't coming together in the same way. And at the same time I was learning about service dogs and therapy dogs, which is far more advanced here than in the UK, and I was really interested in that, very interested in looking at how they were helping children with autism, people with PTSD. I've been sexually assaulted, so the idea of, I knew, like, at my worst, just to have an animal to take out and have someone with you, how powerful that could be. So I started researching that, working with Luna, my dog, as a service dog. And then I guess in my research came across care farms, which interestingly originate from Europe. So I was in the US learning about that, and then just started learning more and more about it. And then with Johnny, started to try to approach the idea of us pausing building our house and putting in the donkey barn and fencing, and one thing led to another, and now we've got 6 miniature donkeys.
Oh, we're going to meet them in a minute, don't worry.
But it's really fascinating, because you're right, it's the unconditional love piece, it's the energy. They attune to your energy in a way that is, it's not easy to put it into words, but if you've just sat and been with them, you would understand. Matilda has some kind of magic unicorn energy going on. She just gently just smells your face and just moves over your body. But when we've had children here that maybe have been self-harming and they're on their own with them, it's interesting. Maybe one or two will particularly pick out that child and just stay close, and the child just, there's something about it, breaks down barriers for them. They come here, they might be anxious, they've not been here before, they don't know how to talk about what's going on for them, and so here you have this cute little donkey that's headbutting them for, like, attention, and you're brushing it, so it's naturally sort of calming the children down, it's calming the adults down. So the whole process really is just brings some serenity and peace and calm, and it does, you know, they've done case studies, it does release oxytocin, happy hormone. So the whole thing works really well and has been a real game changer in getting children that have been to your more traditional therapies, maybe being put on medication, and then parent last minute is just like, I'm struggling here, I don't know what to do, and they bring their child here, or as an adult comes here, and it's just a little bit different, you know, possibly just not for everybody, but for those that love animals and just want to be more outside, listening to these sounds and just being in the fresh air, that with the animals, I think it's a good starting place for healing. But yeah, it's amazing. We had the 4 mini girls arrive yesterday, and I was tearful last night. We had a massive rainbow.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, massive rainbow. It was so beautiful.
I'll put a picture in the comments. It was amazing.
And you're watching.
It was a double rainbow. Did you see both of them? Hi,
and so you're watching these animals and how they meet their new friends, and the herd dynamics, and how they figure out, you know, their place. And I think that's what we're all wanting to do as humans, isn't it? We're trying to figure out, like, where do we fit in? How do we support and work together? You know, there is a renaissance, isn't there, of, like, the Native American traditions, you know, wanting, like, the drumming and the teepee and the being in circles. you know, the full moon ceremonies, I think around the fire, the sweat lodges, you know, the plant medicine, people are craving. It's in our bodies, isn't it?
Yes.
We like crave just to go back to like our primal roots, and I think that that's, you know, what we need. It's often not the complex things that people need. It's a listening ear. It's to know that someone's got their back, that they're being heard, that they're safe, yeah. So
yeah, you have the space of the space itself and all of nature that's healing. You have the presence of the animals, and then that other piece that's so beautiful is the community connections that you're building. So the first time that I came out here, it was for a community dinner.
Yeah.
And it was so remarkable. It was a rainy day. For some reason, I always seem to come when it's a rainy day. It's maybe one sunny day. But the remarkable thing, I came with 3 of my children, was to witness the transformation that happened with my children. And it began with the space. And especially my son. So he was wandering the space, kind of on his own, kind of like, why did mom bring me?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he found the donkeys.
Yeah.
And so then it became about his relationship and connection with the animals. And I don't know if you remember this, but by the end, he couldn't stop talking up every person that was at the community dinner. He took a seat in the door and was like holding court and talking with everybody. And I was like, he's like, okay, when's the next one? Because I can't wait to come back. And I was like, okay. What just happened? And I reached out to you right away. I was like, okay, what did you do to him? Because he just blossomed in the course of like 30 minutes. It was amazing.
Yeah, I remember because I came out and he was hanging over the fence, like just talking to them, and so lovely to see, isn't it? You know, and I you know, I've witnessed it now, and I think, you know, for me, it's a big. I don't mean how I say this, but I feel the responsibility. You know, you've got parents, or you've got people that are really precious and they're really in a difficult place in life. You know, we're not a clinical service. You know, and we're very clear about that. You know, we can be support and run parallel to people, whether that's them taking medication or having traditional therapy. But there is a magic that happens, and I've witnessed it, and you know, it makes me just feel more and more that love thing, you know, that love just does so much to help transform, you know, it really is that back to love, like back to you, back to home and yourself. And just watching now quite a few people coming here that have been in a very dark place and seeing that, and just, I guess, feeling like I'm not from here, so moving here and not having that network, not having those connections to say, hey, how do we go about this? Can you help? Can I get an introduction into people in the last year have just been incredible in coming forward and supporting us, and the gatherings, just bringing their friends, bringing people that they know that may be struggling. And I think at the last one we had nearly 40 people here. Everyone brings a plant-based dish, and it's just so nice, you know, the different dynamics of who's here, and they find different people to talk to and come out of their shell. But I'm realising more and more, you know, my vision, I can already see like 500 acres of land and these little like womb cocoon log cabins for women just to come and rest their heads and sleep and just feel like that safety of having people around them, but just being able to rest, you know, when the pressures of life just get so much and they just need somewhere to just literally, I think you're calling it like peaceful pillows, but we're thinking of putting up, like, just the Amish make these little log cabins, I think they're about 15,000 each, and just putting a few of those up. Lovely bed linen, just come here and sleep for a bit, come rest. Just that. So it's coming together, and I think it's trusting the unfolding, you know, and think sometimes things just need to organically unfold, don't they?
Oh, they
because
totally
you don't
have
really
you.
understand. you don't know, do you, where really is what really is the need? You know, I had my idea because I had my experiences, and I love animals, and so it was just like, wow, you know, can we create a magical setting where people can escape like the challenges of life, and just for a bit they can come here and be inspired, like, oh, you know, life can be different to what it is, and hopefully just help them for as long as they need it. But I'm excited to see where it goes, and also like the partnerships, you know, other women that are doing amazing things in India and, you know, around the world really, and just how we can collaborate and support each other. And I think that's happening more and more.
Yes, collaboration and connection is huge. That's a piece that just keeps weaving in as well.
And it's really beautiful. I think when I started this, it just felt, whether it was just my perception, but it felt like people were a bit more like, this is mine, I do this, and you know, they were holding on like there wasn't enough to go around. And now it feels the complete opposite of that, that people just want to share what they have and really support each other, realizing that, you know, we can just reach our goals that much faster and make so much more impact.
Yes.
We've all got different skill sets. You know, you'll have, you know, far greater skill sets and things than me, and you know, so
different.
Yes,
far
different.
Greater.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we amplify and accelerate the processes that we're, you know, collaborating and connecting. I'm part of the Conscious Community Collaborative that you're, you know, aware of, and it's like, we don't do anything that isn't a collaboration, because what I've witnessed is when we come together in collaboration, we bring out more of ourselves.
Yes.
And more of ourselves, not just from our own practices and approach, but then there's the magic that we create and together. So it's happening.
Yes. Yeah, and the energy, isn't it, of like bouncing off each other, like when you get in that flow state, and it's almost like you're just channeling like spirit in terms of ideas, and you know, what you can create together, and then the energy of being in each other's presence, and it's that much stronger.
Yes, all that support. Oh, beautiful. All right, who have we here?
This is Buffalo Joe. He's a 1.5 years old, and he was my first American road trip. So I went with Courtney. We drove to Kansas on a 10-hour road trip, and we picked him up. And he's training to do therapy work, and he'll go out to the hospitals and hopefully go and see children that are not able to live in their homes, and women that are not able to live in their homes. So he's gonna do.
So he's gonna take his show on the road.
Happy Hooves, Happy Hearts. Is it what?
He's gonna take his show on the road.
Yeah, he's gonna take his show on the road. Buffalo Joe, and yeah. So he's good, and he's a little cheeky monkey, so he's got tons of personality. And then we've got his friend, his sidekick over here, Tiny Tonto.
All right, let's go meet Tiny Tonto. So yeah, I heard you speaking before, so you guys are going to get a trailer.
Yes, we got some funding in, which is amazing.
Awesome.
So now we can start building their confidence and getting them in the trailer.
Yay.
And get them down to Lowe's and Tractor Supply, and just get them used to sort of, you know, being stroked and being in public and having different sensory things go on. And they're doing a specific training program to train, and so it has like 4 different levels, and we're definitely level number 1.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So this is Tiny Tonto, and he is he's about the same age as Joe, so a big difference in height, but he's about 25 inches high. So an absolute little doll. He's just adorable. So I think he's going to be very popular.
So when people come to work with the animals here, what would you have them do with these little fellas?
So they would help with grooming, and sometimes we go for a walk, but we start with just grooming. So we would have someone hold one side and someone hold the other, and they just get to spend time with them. But initially it would just be sitting with them and getting to know the animals, and then grooming, walking, braiding their hair.
Yeah. We both have great hairstyles right now.
Yeah.
So building that connection.
Yeah, you know, it's being mindful. And we teach that piece of the mindfulness piece. It's an amazing organisation in the UK called the Trust Technique, and that is you sit and you just spend time with the animal and you just become aware of your breath and just calm. You listen to like how's the animal breathing, and in doing so it just really just like calms your own breath down, and just being in their presence and just observing them, you know, and looking at some of the children might be doing drawings and looking at what the herd dynamics are. You know, we have like little questionnaires like what's the difference in personalities, what colours are they, like how do they behave around food, how do they treat each other, you know, who's best friends with who. So just getting them to be to observe and to just find peace and calm with the animals, and then with themselves.
Tune in,
yeah. Yeah. I think he looks like some kind of little hip hop star. He looks like he needs some little Nike trainers on, and like he's gonna break into some like breakbeat.
I could see that. Okay,
little
we'll see.
Yeah. Stay funky.
Funky donkey.
Funky little tonto.
Maybe we'll just do a few little footage of the barn over here because it's so beautiful.
Yeah. I might need your children soon. We've got lots of wooden rainbows arriving because I want to say thank you to people that have donated. So I want to paint the rainbows. And Noah wants to paint the rainbows. So yeah, so we've got a big one coming over the barn, and just to say thank you for people that have helped us. So they just come like plain wooden. So.
Oh, good. So you're gonna add the color. Beautiful.
Good at painting rainbows, Kendra.
Okay. Now we're approaching the barn. We're gonna meet some more friends. Look at these. So these little guys, they just came yesterday, you said?
Yes.
And what are they?
So this is Goldie.
Hi, Goldie.
And this is
Noah. Behave yourself.
Yeah, he's saying hi.
Oh, you're saying hi.
He's saying hi. It's okay. And then we've got Katie Coco, and then we've got little Irish, which is goddess of the rainbow, and then we've got little Ruby Blue Eyes here. She's got blue eyes popping out the side of her head. She's amazing.
Oh yes, I see her.
So I've just put them in with the donkeys today just to get a bit of motherly love. And build up the strength in their legs because they haven't had a lot of space to walk around. So we're building up, like little Ruby's back leg there just needs more strength in it. So just walking around.
So how are you finding these beautiful little babies? How are you making the connections?
So this is through a lady called Cindy Seacat, and she's been working with horses for therapy for years now, and she was connected to me by a lady called Lisa Mode, who's in Ohio. And Lisa worked with Cincinnati police and hospitals and the airports with her mini horses. And she recommended Cindy as someone who had some really nice horses, and to see whether we may be able to get some here for therapy work. So really gentle, really calm, really nice temperament. And so it's actually Lisa's program that we're doing, which is miniature horse therapy program. And she does like 4 levels. It's so thorough, it's really good. It's like step by step of what you have to take them through, you know, for different things that they might experience and come across, just to build their confidence really, and probably my confidence more than theirs, you know. It's probably me that's getting trained.
It's both, right?
Well,
it's always both.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
So I'm excited. They're, you know, building their confidence with humans, and the most important thing though is to get them feeling safe here for now. We can start to relax, and then we'll just start building their confidence every day.
I love that, because what you speak about, you know, creating the safety and building the confidence, it's the same thing.
Same thing.
The same approach that you're using.
Yeah, and it is, and you know, you see that, you just see like how they're so nervous and so frightened, and how they all stick together, and then just being respectful of their boundaries and being consistent with love and their food, and they start coming out of their shells, and you just see the joy. Let's go.
They start coming out of their shells and you see the joy. I want to make sure that didn't get missed. That's right. Oh my goodness. I love it. And that's really what it's all about. I mean, as we were talking by the pond before, one of the things that just struck me that I keep hearing again and again is returning everything back to the essence of love, because that's everything is.
Yeah.
Even the trauma, even the intense emotions, and being in that full process. And even like the oxytocin.
Yes.
When you think about, that's the happy hormone, but that's the hormone of bonding. Not just bonding between mother and child, but between us and our inner child.
Yes.
You know, building that connection,
and that's what
that
you mentioned
trust.
at the beginning, wasn't it? That inner child. So much healing there to be done, and you know, in the sessions, you just see the power of someone regressing, going back, and seeing that you know, the little version of themselves, and
being able to welcome that little version with love.
Yes, this is Rainbow.
Oh, hi Rainbow. I know someone who's going to be happy to see you.
Hey.
Yeah.
Say hello to Sophie.
Aww.
And Emma. Hey, baby.
Well, if anyone would like to be able to be a part of what you do here, what would you know, where should they start looking?
Well, we have an Instagram page at Amitola Care Farm. Amitola's Amitola.
And I'll post it in the comments too.
We've got a Facebook page, we've got the website, and if you just want to know more and think about coming out here or sessions, you can just reach out by email at info@amitolacarefarm.com.
Awesome. Do you have any upcoming events?
We have a gathering coming up. It's overdue. We've got to set a date for that, and we've got workshops starting for the fall. So we've got Love Yourself, Heal Your Life, which is a Louise Hay workshop, which is just as it says, loving yourself, healing your life. So that's going to be a 6-week program. We've got grief and loss program that's launching as well, and then we've got one-to-one coaching.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
You're so welcome.
Say goodbye to everybody.